other night. And the father or the priest of the home would respond. It was because when the Lord declared to the Israelites, go in and seal yourselves in and put blood over the doorposts. And death is going to ride tonight, but when I see the blood, I'll pass over you. So the night was relevant because it was reflective of the past salvific intervention of God, that God would not allow death to come when he saw the blood. Second boy would ask the question, why do we eat such unusual foods as the masa, unleavened bread, and the mara, the bitter herb? An explanation would be given. Why do we dip green herbs in salty water? Why do they open the door? Why do they hide and then eat of the African, the masa bread? My brothers and sisters, Jesus celebrated that Passover. The coppice, the greens, which stands for life. When you dip greens in the salt water, life emerges in tears, or life has drawn from the tears of the Israelites 430 years in bondage. The mara, the horseradish, a bitter herb, bitterness and tears associated with the pain, the struggle, the disdain, the disappointment, the disillusionment, the dashings of hopes. The carousel, the apple mix, sweet redemption. Dip unleavened bread into an apple mix takes away the bitterness from the horseradish, meaning even the bitter things in life can be sweetened by his redemption. The kazaret, which is a bitter root, stays on the Seder plate. Life at its very root can be bitter. Family issues, great grandparents, and generational curses and associations socially, and all of the environmental troubles, deep roots, bitter herbs. The shaggot is roasted brown egg, sacrificed lamb, peel and slice egg, dip in salt water, meaning the lamb that has to be sacrificed no more. The zerah, the shank bone. This lamb sacrifice, Jesus was the ultimate sacrifice, lamb that were central to the first Passover, Acts 12, Exodus 12. You don't have to slay a lamb anymore. You don't have to sprinkle blood over the door. Someone is taking the place of the lamb. His name is, he's the great I am. I got to come home now, see an exit. He left heaven to be born in a human body. He became poor that we might be rich. I hear E flat somewhere. He bore our sins in his own body on the tree. He willingly took our place on Calvary. He shed his blood for our redemption. He conquered death for us forever. Would you shout forever? He ascended back to heaven to finish his redemptive work and to serve as our high priest said forever. Well, brothers and sisters, let me tell you that it is a time of contemplation when we celebrate. Not only are we to remember what Jesus has done for humanity, but we are to contemplate what his sacrifice means to you and I as individuals. Jesus died on the cross to save sinners. But what does that mean to you? Have you been saved? Are you really saved? Have you really been born again? Then it's a time of identification. When we take the Lord's Supper, we are publicly identifying ourselves with Jesus Christ. Now it is possible for a lost person to partake of the Lord's Supper and never be saved. This event holds a saving power significant. However, for those who are saved, it is a time of identification to declare publicly that I'm one of his today. The Lord's Supper service is a prime time to identify yourself with Jesus. Then it's a time of declaration. And this verse reminds us that when we celebrate the Lord's Supper, we're declaring his death and resurrection to new generations of people. This is to be a time of educating and sharing and inculcating them, as well as a time of worship. We must always take the time to explain, like the Jews, what we're doing, why we celebrate from the bread and the juice. This service is a prime time to declare the gospel message to those who have no hope and who have no connectivity with him, to proclaim so that men and women, boys and girls, will have the opportunity to believe on Jesus as we ought to. Then it's a time of expectation. For you see, we are all so reminded that this time serves to stir up our thoughts, to recapitulate, reverberate upon all that he's already done and everything he promises to do. And so then the Lord let us know that we have expectation. Then it's a time of examination. So let a man examine himself. The Lord's Supper service is a time of reflection, a time of personal worship, entering into the holies of holies in the spirit, finding self-examination. Search me, Lord, not if but when you find anything that should not be, take it out and straighten me. I want to be saved. I want to be whole. I want to be right. I want your favor. I want to walk in light. Then it's a warning to the backslider. It's a warning against taking it lightly. The problem that exists, and I'm through, is that Paul has to scorn those first century saints. They were celebrating like they were coming to a fellowship. They were celebrating with no reverence, with no identification of this being the sacrificial lamb that Jesus had died at Calvary. They forgot that he shed his blood. They forgot he labored in Gethsemane. They forgot that he labored in prayer until blood vessels broke, and he broke with sweat and blood. They forgot he was betrayed with a kiss and denied by a privileged saint. Peter denied him 3 times. Judas Iscariot hugged him and kissed him, and a kiss of death and betrayal. They forgot he scorned the disciples. Could you not tarry with me 1 hour? They forgot he prayed the first prayer. If it be thy will, let this cup pass from me. But thank God he perseveres, and he prayed through and didn't get through praying. And because I'm going up now, and because he did not get through praying, he gets to that sacred moment. Nevertheless, not my will, but thy will be done. They forgot they bound him, took him all night long, and interrogated him, scourged him early Friday morning, beat him with a cat of 9 tails. His back was lacerated with 39 stripes, and because he was wounded for our transgression, he was bruised for our iniquity. The chastisement of our peace was upon him, And by his stripes, we surely are healed. They forgot about that, and they did not reverence the fact that after they took him to Golgotha and the place of scourging and interrogating without being able to sleep, and then they robed him of a manly apparel and effeminate him with a robe that was suggestive of a woman's apparel, drug him through the street to be laughed at, to be scorned and scourged, plucked his brow. Yes, they did. Put a crown of thorns, 72 holes. Now, some of y'all got rose bushes with a little thicket on it. That ain't what it was. History records for us